mainly it is for Azure admin, it is for Active Directory admin, it is for O365 admin, and it can be, even Wintel admin can take part in the session. So it is quite interesting topic, which is newly introduced in the Microsoft Office 65 tenant, so Azure tenant. So I'm sure that at the end of this session we'll gain some knowledge out of this discussion. Right. So this is the agenda. What we are going to cover today, which will be the primarily the overview of Azure AD PIM, and solution component, directory settings, approval workflow, and the features. Right. To start with Azure AD, I'm sure that most of us are familiar with the term called Azure AD. If you guys are working on Office 65 particularly, and on Azure, I'm sure you are familiar with Azure AD. Or there are chances that you may not be familiar, but indirectly you are using Azure AD. So I will cover it up, some portion of Azure AD, but primarily our focus would be on Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. So just to set the right expectation, guys, our primary focus would be on Azure AD PIM, and we will be touch base on some of the areas like RBAC, authentication, some of the areas I'll touch base, because that is important when you talk about Azure AD PIM, right? But we will not go deep into that on all those topics, but I will brief it. I'm sure that if you guys are part of Azure AD, or if you are managing Azure, you are familiar with that one. But I see that there are a number of people have joined, so they may be on a different level of skill set. Some of them are from L1, L2 level. Some of them are into architect level. To keep uniformity and to make sure that this session is interactive for everyone, I'll try to keep it in a way that everyone should understand, and try to make it in a more easy way rather than a complex, right? So that's how I want to conclude this session. And at the end of the day, at the end of the session, we will have question and answer session, right? So start with Azure AD. It is the name itself says Azure with AD. AD stands for Active Directory. So it's a similar fashion. If you guys are Active Directory administrator, it is Active Directory, nothing else than that, but it's cloud-hosted Active Directory. It's comprehensive identity access management cloud solution for your employees, partner, and customer. Azure AD is a multi-tenant cloud-based directory and identity management services. So it combines directory services, advanced identity governance, application access management, rich standard-based platform for developer. To enhance Active Directory, capability features, organization can add, paid capabilities. By default comes with, a very normal Active Directory functionality, what you see in on-prem. But yes, if you want to opt for multiple features, you can go for Active Directory Basic, Active Directory Premium P1, Active Directory Premium P2. So Active Directory paid editions are built on top of your existing free directory, and it provides enterprise class capability. It's a kind of self-service password reset, enhanced monitoring, multi-factor authentication, secure access to your mobile workspace. There are many, if you go to Microsoft portal, you will have this, list of features, but I just try to keep it short, just for the interest of time. So you can configure SSO, self-service password reset, and conditional access, all those capabilities, and it is evolving day by day. Microsoft comes up with plenty of features. So more you dig into that, more you get to know that what are the features are available in Azure, right? So this is just a brief about Azure AD and what it is. If we talk about Azure AD, you being IT admin, I being admin, and how it is affecting me, where I am touching those areas. So for IT admin, yes, Azure AD provides a more secure solution to your organization through the use of stronger identity management and single sign-on access to the thousands of cloud-based SaaS apps and on-premise apps. Through these apps, you will also get cloud-based app security, seamless access, enhanced collaboration, automation of identity of your employee, and help to increase both security and compliance. For developer, Yeah, Azure AD lets to focus building the apps and letting you to integrate with the identity management solution that used by millions of organizations around the world. For Office 365, Azure and Dynamics CRM Online customer, it is just that as I said, you are already using it Azure AD. Each of Office 365, Azure, and CRM Dynamics CRM tenant is actually hosted on Azure AD tenants. So that is letting you immediate start your manage your employee access to your integrated cloud apps. So this is what Azure AD for respective set of teams, so admins, a developer, and customer. So Azure AD is actually a backbone or heart of Azure cloud when we talk about cloud. So it integrates with a multiple component. It is on premises, your on premises Active Directory, your on premises server, your partner, your customer. With the private or public cloud, you can see Amazon in the stack, Amazon Salesforce, other public cloud, and similarly the device being accessed from externally. So all has to go through this proper authentication, when they are accessing your the cloud application. So it is again a modern identity management system spanning cloud and on-premises providing federation. So I'm sure that the guys who are knowledgeable on Active Directory and all, there are terms called federation services. So as I said, we are not going to touch base on ADFS or AADC or all Azure Active Sync, AADC Sync and all these areas. We'll keep it very limited to the area which we are here, which is mainly Azure AD PIM. So this is just the brief about Azure AD and what our customers doing with the Azure AD is basically it's increasing the productivity. You have tons of thousands of apps, but you are managing using one identity. You are securing your enterprise. You are protecting your users. You are scaling it, and managing at a scaling level, and you are doing it on premise in the cloud. So basically, it's empowering user and organization at a scale. Right. So that's all about AD Active Directory, Azure AD. Let's move into the interesting area where we'll touch base today, in detail, which is called Azure AD PIM. Right. So so guys, we have covered at Azure AD. What I would suggest, if you have any question, just park your question with you, and once we get into the Q&A session, you can ask those questions. Meanwhile, just park all your questions wherever you think that okay, you have any question. Just park your question with us, and we will cover it up at the end of the session. Right. So Azure AD PIM, it's basically a privileged identity management where you can manage, control, and monitor access within your organization. This includes your Azure AD, Azure Resources, Resource Group, and other Microsoft Online Services, Office 365 and Intune. The primary objective is to minimize the number of people who have access to the secure information or resource, because it reduces the chance of a malicious user getting that access and an authorized user and the sensitive resource within your tenant or within your cloud. So but the ground reality, the fact is users still need to carry out some of the privileged operation in Azure Resource, Azure AD, and Office 365 service, right? So we cannot completely restrict the access. So that's where why this feature came into the picture in Azure AD. So organization can give users a privileged access to Azure Resource like subscription or any Azure AD component. But as a general best practice, it is best to operate and manage Azure infrastructure under the least privileged access principle. There is a need for oversight for what those users are doing with their admin privileges. So we have given the rights to the team which is doing the operational tasks, but yes, of course, there is a need to look what they are doing. There could be chance of human error, there could be any reason this account can be misused. So for that we need to have the strong monitoring and the audit logs. So Azure AD PIM supports administration of Azure AD directory roles and the roles of Azure Resources, right? So that's where the two areas we will be focusing, today during this session, the directory roles and Azure Resource, right? The function of roles for Azure Research differ from administration role in Azure AD. So again, guys, the admin, people who are managing Active Directory, they would be quite familiar with all Active Directory or Azure AD roles. The team who is purely a cloud deployment team, they are quite familiar with the Azure resources. So the function of roles are quite different. Azure resource role provides a granular permission for the resource that which are assigned and all the subordinate resource in the resource hierarchy. Right. So PIM, the short form we are using, rather than privilege, I would refer it as PIM. PIM for both Azure AD and Azure Research can be administered by accessing appropriate link under the manage section of PIM overview entry. In the left. So if you have the tenant, if you have tenant access, you would be able to see it, in your respective project or any trial tenant. PIM provides a convenient access to activate roles, view pending activation requests, pending approvals for Azure AD roles, reviews pending your response from the task section of the navigation menu. When accessing any of the task menu item from overview entry point, the resulting view contains result for both Azure AD and Azure roles. One of the most important part that to leverage this Azure AD PIM features, the user who are leveraging this feature, he has to be, has to have a valid, license, either Azure AD Premium P2 or Enterprise Mobility Secure, E5 license. These are the license using which you can leverage this feature. All right. So when we talk about privileged access, it's so quite generic. The word is quite generic. You have privileged access, right? So in an organization, let's say you have organization who has got the privilege. Of course, the people who is managing the IT environment, who is managing the cloud, who is managing. So it is nothing but the people who are managing customers' operations. So they would have some sort of people. Apart from that, the HCL or our team, we are the people who have got the privileged access into the environment. Right. So these are some of the known incident have happened in the past, which triggered the entire industry that why we should have the control on that privileged access management. So you can see that this have been captured from the various IT blogs where they found that the privileged account information got compromised, and result of that there was attack on Active Directory and all, right? So again, guys, what I said, we are touching base only upon the cloud Azure AD. We are not touching on on-premises component in this session. Probably we can have one more session later on on the on-premises privilege access, but this particular session will be discussing only on Azure AD PIM areas, right? So yeah, these all are captured from various IT blogs, and that triggers all the team that okay, we should have some solution to manage those privileged access, right? So coming back to another concept of a PIM, let's say in today's world, we how do we use admin account used today in Azure AD? Let's say for example Joe need permission to manage some resource, right? So Exchange admin, let's say Exchange admin. So what Joe gonna do? He's gonna call help desk. His account is added to the Exchange admin group in AD. Okay, and Joe logs in and receives the rights membership. This is just when someone joins the organization. If we think about practically the current scenario, we have some L2, L3 or L4 team sitting in OMC or on site. They have the permanent access, or nowadays what most of the customers they are doing, they are giving separate access, separate ID to do the administration job. So either they give some unique name, admin hyphen let's say my name admin hyphen this end. So I will have separate account created that is only to perform that administration activity. That is again it is becoming an obsolete practice. What is coming into the picture now, which is called PIM, the PIM level. So we go with the traditional way. This is the way we receive access and we do the task. But what is missing here, once we finish our task, our account, the permission will stay as it is, right? We are not going to call help desk. We are not going to call anyone that, hey, I got this access. You please go away, take my access back, keep it as a normal user access. That's where all these user concerns start. So that view remains in Exchange admin indefinitely, right? Right. So challenges in protecting the privilege access, right? So this is where I've tried to explain it in a graphical manner where you can see that how social engineering leads to the credential theft. You have got privileges, but those account information can be can go to anyone else, can be shared to anyone else, and it but you have that workflow when you say one person, it can be shared with other person, and it could go up to the admin level, but these all are challenge. Sometimes you give the permission on a higher level and indefinite time. What we do here, using the just-in-time administration will make sure that it provides privileged access through a workflow where you go to one person, second person will approve it, third person it will go to the most privileged person, and there at the last it will go to admin or global admin. So access is limited in time and it will be audited using this concept. There are scenarios like administration account not used when reading emails. That's a fact. I have done my job. I've done server upgrade or some administration activities, but I'm not using it. That account when I'm reading my email, when I'm doing some Excel sheet update and all. So that's where why do we need this access for forever or permanently, right? Right. So typical administrator in current world that what we do, we have given high privilege permission. We have permanent permission, trusted, but yeah, it is unmonitored, unmanaged. It posing the high value target for security attacks and can go undetected for months because if there is no any process established, as there is no any system established, it will go unmanaged, or undetected for months. Right. With Azure ADP, this is where the Azure ADP concept comes in picture, and you will see that what is the benefit. Right. So least privilege account run as a regular user, right? So if you are not using, you are using running as a regular user when when access revoked, right? Temporary timeout activation of privileges, monitor audit log, historical report, and this applies to the AD admin role Office 65 and Azure Archive. Right. So it reduces the security attack service reporting and alert for all privileges. So you get all the reporting and alert in the all privileges, and logging for all auditing. You can keep all the logs forever. Based on your configuration in this one. Right. Another way to explain on a graphical manner, you have a set of team, having a different set of access, global admin, billing admin, exchange admin, user admin, and password. But all these access are fully controlled under the PIM. So it is based on the request, enforced on demand, just-in-time administration access when needed. It provides more visibility and alerts, audit reports, and access review. Right. So if I'm talking in a workflow manner, this is what we do. First, we discover, if we have to implement what we do, we discover number of users, out of them, how many of them having the privilege access, right? So here you can see in a flow that user has got the access as an administrator. He will do his job. Administrator privilege expire after specified interval. So I will walk you through this, the flow, how the flow will work, in a graphical manner. And I have one small demo site, so I can walk you through that one. But just to give you the brief way that this privilege will expire after specified interval. And again, that user will become a normal user because he will lose the privilege access once that interval expires, right? So it is enforced on demand, just-in-time administration access, ensure policies are met with alert, audit, manage admin access in Azure AD, also in Azure RBAC, and provides more visibility through alert, audit reports, and access reviews, right? So basic principle which PIM follows is a just-in-time admin access. So what the basic methodology is to prepare, write, protect, operate, and monitor. So this runs on this basic fundamental where which user have got the privilege access. So we have to prepare for it, set up the life cycle, duration, do it, operate it in a just-in-time concept, monitor it once it is done, and keep the cycle on. So that is the basic principle of PIM, right? So when we talk about PIM, we cannot understand or complete the discussion if we don't touch, these are the areas which is called Azure MFA. So when we talk about MFA, you can configure on premises, you can configure Azure AD, you can configure MFA for Office 65. There are various setup, but we will be discussing only on high level, which is mainly for Azure. So when we are configuring, Azure AD PIM, Microsoft always recommend, those set of admin, they have to, it is recommended to set up the enforce the MFA for those admin. That reduce the risk of, attack due to uncompromised password. So, when we talk about MFA, right, it's quite generic, selfishness and word that is multi-factor. So what we do, generally, we set up the two-step verification and preferred method. What we recommend HCL, either phone call or text message, but there are plenty of other way, mobile apps verification and all. It's purely based on the customer requirement or the business customer is holding. So that goes, but our recommendation normally go with phone calls or text message. You can enforce users to complete MFA challenge when they activate role in Azure AD PIM. This way the user didn't complete an MFA challenge where they signed it, so they will be prompted to do so by PIM. So the simplest option is to rely on Azure MFA for users who are activating. If I'm normal user, I don't need to go through this MFA. But yes, if I'm doing, if I'm requesting for privileged access, I have to go through this MFA because MFA is enforced for any privileged role. Right. In addition, PIM provides operational enforcement for Azure multi-factor authentication for Azure resources. In two scenario, either require MFA for activate and require MFA on assignment. So this applicable for Azure resources, right? And the license that enables MFA, this again just keep it simple that this license are MFA. But if you want a PIM, you have to go with a P2 license, premium P2 license, or A5 license, right? The second topic is RBAC. This is quite interesting, right? But as I said, guys, if I talk about RBAC, we'll not be able to complete the session in the given stipulated time. That's why I try to keep it in a single slide. What is the use? Because when you implement, PIM for Azure resource, it is important to understand, what is the RBAC. Nothing is role-based access control, right? So again, the same concept, the least privilege is the best practice to help improve security of our organization. So role-based access control support this best practice by helping you to manage, who has access to Azure resource, so what they can do with those resources and what areas they have access to. So RBAC is a system that provides fine-grained access management to resources in Azure. Using RBAC, you can segregate duties within your team and grant only the amount of access to the user that they need to perform the job. So instead of giving everybody unrestricted permission into your Azure subscription or resource, you can allow only certain action at the particular scope. Right, so Azure RBAC has three basic roles that applies to all resources. So it talks about the basics of owner, contributor, and reader. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with that one, the people who are working on Azure, right? And the rest of RBAC roles, in Azure allows management to specific Azure resource. For example, virtual machine contributor roles allows user to create and manage VMs, but it doesn't allow them to access. So guys, it purely depends on the requirement of the customer, their compliance requirement, what they need. It can be customized, and some of the scenario customer may ask them to they want to customize role, custom RBAC role. That can be done using the script. So and along with this role, RBAC built-in roles list are available when you have the Azure portal built-in roles you have access, right? So you can see in a graphical manner, how that users, authenticate to Azure AD, and then from subscription, they can access resource group, various resource group within the Azure, right? Back to the workflow, this is how you guys will get a clue that, okay, we talked a lot about Azure, Azure AD PIM. You might have questioned that, how that workflow work, how to actually implement. So in this slide, I try to keep it, in a way that it can be understood easily by any admin, right? So if I go with an admin, a user who need access first to some predefined role. So see, again the challenge here, we have to define the role. So all those information cannot be captured in the stack. But yes, before we giving any sort of instruction to the admin, first of all we have to configure each role. So how to configure that each role, we have this detail in the following section. Just assume that one role, say for example global admin, global administrator in Azure is configured, right? So I'm the one of the member of global admin. Okay, and role is configured, right? So what I'm going to do that I need to perform some activities in Azure tenant. So what I'm going to do that I will I need to access that one, and I will request it in Azure portal, Azure PIM portal, that I need the access. How to request it, I will show you in the next following section. So what will happen, the MFA is enforced for me, so I will have to go through this MFA. I have to clear that MFA test, and I have to supply either the pre-generated SMS or Microsoft calls, whatever we have defined in MFA. So I don't want to talk more about, but MFA itself, you have different various sort of configuration, voice message. You can customize the way you want, but let's stick to the session what we are interested here. So just assume that maybe we have MFA default MFA setting configured, and we have cleared this MFA part test, and then user will be requested to provide the reason. When I'm doing some certain task, I should have some proper reason, or either I should have some change request number or incident or whatsoever. Why do you need the access? So that information you have to feed into the portal. And then it goes to the approver. Approver can be change manager, approver can be your technical manager or any governing authority, in the respective organization. He or she will review that request and approve or reject the request. All these things will be notified to you either on email. At present the capability is given by Azure that it's only on email. In the future, they are coming up, to provide an SMS method or some different way of communication. But at present, it triggers only an email. So if the request approved by approver, admin user will receive notification role activation. Admin user can view new access level and the duration for which the permissions have been granted. So admin user will retain their privileges for a pre-configured amount of time. Guys, this is very, when you say pre-configured, right? So when I'm configuring the global administration role, I will set some amount of time, let's say 4 hours, 6 hours, 24 hours. So during that period, the admin will be able to perform the activities, right? And the security admins can discover all the privileged identity, view audit report, review anyone who is eligible to activate via access. So that's where the auditing and all the logs and audit history should be visible, right? Right. So you can also see from the graphical manner, how that flow works, right? Role setting and configuration. This is more onto the technical way, how to configure the role, right? So each role can be configured in different ways. So I'm not going to touch this because we have number of roles in AD and we have number of roles in RBAC. So if we cover all these areas, we will not be able to do it in a day. So it is just for example, sample. I'm just giving the information in this tag. So yeah, PIM for Azure AD roles. So Azure AD manages policies for privileged access for users in Azure. PIM assigns users to one or more roles in Azure AD. So you can assign someone to be permanently in that role or eligible for role, right? So when a user is permanently assigned to role or activity and eligible role assignment, then they can manage Azure Office 365 and other applications with the permission. And so, but when we compare about the permanent and eligible, guys, there is no difference, with respect to the access. The only difference is permanent user, he or she does not need to go and request a role, and eligible has to do it each time they need access, right? So that's where the difference is, right? So these are the common or most used roles, what we have in Azure AD. Azure AD PIM, right? The global admin, privilege role, billing admin, password, service, user management, Exchange admin, SharePoint, and Skype for business. Guys, when we talk about Exchange and Skype for before we do that, there is a limitation where before you implementing PIM, I have some sort of access in Office 65, like say Exchange Online, right, or Exchange Administrator. And if I'm giving it to only into Exchange admin role in Azure AD, but if I'm not giving it to O365 and Office 65 using admin console, this will not work. So what it says, before you implement in Azure AD PIM, make sure you have using the O365 admin console. I need to map the same address, same access into that particular role. So I should have the same Exchange administrator role in O365, login or admin center, and then I can use that role. So that's a kind of limitation. But for Office 65, Microsoft is coming up as a separate, the PIM roles. It's called a PIM for Office 65, which can be managed directly from the O365 admin center. You don't need to go to Azure portal. So that is still in under review, and Microsoft will come up by end of this year, right? So, but as of now, what you can do, in the level, what are the roles defined in presented in Azure AD, those roles can be controlled in using, and you can leverage the PIM features for that. PIM for Azure resources. So yeah, with Azure Active Directory Privileged Identity Management, you can now manage, control, and monitor access to Azure resources within your organization. This includes the subscription, Azure groups, or even virtual machines. So any resource within the Azure portal that leverage the Azure role-based access functionality can take advantage of all great security and lifecycle management capability Azure AD PIM has to offer, right? So Azure AD PIM can manage built-in Azure resource role as well as a custom RBAC role, which includes owner, user access contributor, user access admin contributor, security admin, security manager, and more. So key role in PIM. So these roles are, when we talk about key roles, we are not talking about the inbuilt role or the roles given in AD or Azure AD or Azure resource. This role talk about when you are configuring, enabling any particular role. You give the say for example, you are giving privileged role administrator. So what it can be done, it can enable approval for specific roles. Specify approval users or group into approval requests, and give request approve history. Okay. The second is a designated approver. So so designated approver, you will not find this role in Azure AD roles. This is actually during the role configuration, you are giving designated approver. So it's not a role. Under the role, you have approver or eligible role. So if you are approver, you will be able to view pending approval, approver reject, and provide justification, right? Eligible role user, you can request activation. You can view status of your activation, and you can complete your task in. So this is the three different layer. The super layer is a privileged role administrator. Under that, you are giving you are delegating or you are giving some designated approver, and the last is the eligible role, which is the person who will be performing this task, right? So this is just the view what you can see, guys. I don't have any tenant, so that's the reason I cannot show you the demo live. But this is what you can see. You see the highlighted section for global admin, the activation hours. You can configure the notification. You can enable. Right, incident request ticket. You can enable. So person has to put the incident request, and that will go for review. MFA you can enable, right, and require approval. Yes, if you enable, it will go for further. So this is just a graphic way, how to configure one role, right? So you see all the 5 highlighted sections, right? Activation, notification, incident request ticket, MFA, and request approval. So there is a summary of each role here, the maximum activation duration. So when user activates a role, how long should it remain activated? A shorter duration is desirable for security reasons, right? So that's again the part of best practice. The notification, should an email be sent to administrator when a role is activated? This can also give admin a feeling as whether admin role is abused. Okay, why use admin when it is not necessary to perform tasks? So the incident request ticket, you should enforce support ticket number to be entered into each activation. This can be useful if you really need to close up loops or why elevation required. So yeah, that needs to be setting, you can put it. And MFA already talked about that, user has to go with, has to clear the MFA in order to get the access. And the approval is the same concept. Approval has to approve it when it is enabled, and admin will need to approve an activation of user. So this might be useful, and for high users such as global admin onto, and it also document full process, either user X asks for elevation and Y approved. So for compliance and audit point of view, this is very useful, right? Okay, so from operation standpoint, we have enabled, we have implemented PIM and all, but there are certain needs, where operation team, would need it, when they have to manage the operation. So what they need mainly, their focus will be on the reports, day to day, administration. When they talk about, they would need alert, to manage it. Say for example, we have given some sort of administrator access, but they are not using. I'm talking about the permanent, not about the eligible. So even for permanent admin, we have given sort of access, but they are not using it. So these are all alert, goes to some generic ID or whatever the ID you have configured. You can see list of alert. The tenant does not have Azure AD Premium. Okay, if the license expires, it gives alert. Roles assigned being outside. So basically, guys, I tried to capture some of the highly used, but more you dig into that part, you will see that it offers plenty of features and capability, right? But this is just to cover up, the high level of concept in the PIM, and when you are managing this environment, your customer environment, you day to day you come across this kind of the discussion that how to, but you can always propose them that this is the best solution which is been offered by Microsoft, right? So yeah, so we talk about notification. It gives mail notification. It sends a reminder email, and it requires approval and access review, right? So number of days between each access review exercise. So default it can be 30 days, right? So once all this configured, you can see, in a dashboard or kind of, the audit history, what is done. You can see it, when, even in your, as a your login, not into the enterprise admin, that what activity you have done on which day and what access you have been granted. And here this is the view where, you can see the history of all, directory roles. Right, so this is just more you browse all this Azure AD audit history in all the respective columns and tabs, you will get to know that what are the capabilities of Azure AD PIM is offering. So again, back to the basic. Let's not forget, we got into many areas, but what is the key features? What Azure AD PIM is offering. So just to summarize again, that which user assigned to privilege role, manage Azure resource, as well as which user assigned to administrator role. Okay, enable on-demand, just-in-time administration access to Microsoft service like 365, Intune, Azure resource group, and individual resource of virtual machine. To see the audit history of administrator activation, including what changes administrator had to make to Azure resource, get alerts for the changes done by admin, require approval to active Azure AD admin roles, and review membership. So this 5 to 6 point, it talks about the key features of what PIM is offering. What we talked about on a technical level, basically MFA and RBAC and other areas. But if you have to present it to the customer, this is where they will be interested to know that this is the capability of Azure AD PIM feature. PPT-based demo where I can give you some glimpse of how it works. It is not for setting up it, just how to modify or edit existing role. So I will go slowly to make sure you guys can capture it, right? So here you can see I have pinned Azure AD Privilege Access Management tab in under that. you have to click on that. So one more most important thing, guys, you can see in the top right hand side corner, I have logged in with the admin using my ID, admin ID. So it's a superior admin who is doing this configuration. Right. So I'll click on Azure AD identity management. Right. I could see activate my role, manage privilege role, or review privilege access. So this is what I get the result now, that I could see that security administrator MFA enabled. You can see in the graphic in image how many global admins. There are 5 users. Privileged admin, there are 1 users. Right, there is 1 user. Now when you click on global admin, here the global admin, you see that how many global admins are permanent. Okay, so you see that 5 admins, and here you can also see the count number of admins, right? So 5 users, they have got a global admin. Now I want to modify from permanent to eligible, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click that first user is Ishai Langer, right? And I will make it as eligible. So here, yeah, you can see the make eligible option button on the right hand side top corner, make eligible. I'll click on that button. Right, he'll become eligible. Right, so he's no more permanent, he's eligible. And how long he'll be eligible? It depends on the pre-configuration, the configuration we have done it for global admin role. So before we setting up PIM, we need to make sure we should configure all these roles as per the requirement. Right. Now you can see activation duration, notification, incident request, and MFA. Right. If I want to enable it, this I can enable it. So you can see that setting of global were updated. Right. So now going back to the I'll get the name. His name is Ishai Langer. I'll go back to the mailbox of the user who has got the global admin. Right. So he will receive that email in this manner. You can see that this is the template of the email. Right. That gives him a notification that this access permission has been granted as eligible. Right. He will go back to the portal on his login. Now you can see in the top right hand side, in the corner, the login, the user who logged in is own, it's not an admin. So he will go to that PIM portion. What he has to do, he has to request now. He has to as a global, he has to request his activation. You can see only 1 role because he has been given as eligible for global admin. If he has been given for 5 roles, he should be able to see that the 5 roles under his login. So he is a global admin. He has to activate. So what he's gonna do, he will click on activate. Right, he will give the reason for role activation. Okay, he will put some reason that you are in financial. Okay, the role succeeded. The user was activated for global admin, right? So what will happen if he goes to his mailbox? He would have received the email by now, and you can see that access valid till October 3, 420. That's how the access is configured, right? So again, this is the same portal where you can see how many global admin, out of them how many permanent, how many eligible. And then go to the audit history. So now I have logged in as an admin, not into the user. Under that, I can see, yeah, this is the audit history, right? So which user got active at what time, which user is currently active, so these all the details, you can see in audit history portion. So that's all, guys.